चांदे बोले कोटा नेत्रा जाव माया पिशाचेरा गोरे कोटा नेत्रा जाओ माया पिशाचेरा गोरे जीवो बोलिया ऐसे संसार बेतारे बोलिया रोहिलो तुम्हें अविद्या बारे बोलिया तुम्हारे लोहिते आमी रोहिनो अवतारा आमी बिन बंदो के अचे तुम्हारा एनेचे औषधि माया एनेचे औषधि माया नसीबारो लागे एनेचे औषधि माया नसीबारो लागे हरि नाम महामंत्र लो तो में मागे हरि नाम हरि नाम महामंत्र लो तो में मागे हरि नाम भक्ते विनोदा प्रभु चरणे परे भक्ते भक्ते विनोदा प्रभु चरणे परे भक्ते विनोदा मंत्र Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। Translation.
Lord Gauranga is calling. Wake up, sleeping souls. Wake up, sleeping souls. How long will you sleep? Will you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? We have forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the world of birth and death. I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion from which you are suffering. Eat this Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namah Pankajanabhaya Namah Pankajamaline Namah Pankajatraya Namaste Pankajangraye. Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 10, chapter entitled Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwaraka, text number 24. Saha Vai Ayam Saki Anugita Sakhatha Vedeshu Guhyeshu Cha Guhyavadbihi Ekha Isha Atma Leelaya Shriti Avati Ati Na Sajjate Sayam Sakya Anugita Satkato Sayam Sakya Anugita Satkato Vedeshu Guhyeshu Cha Guhyavadbihi Vedeshu Guhyeshu Cha Guhyavadbihi Ya Eka Isho Jagadātma Leelaya Ya Eka Isho Jagadātma Leelaya Srijatya Atinatat Sajjate Srijatya Avatya Atinatra Sajjate Srijatya Atinatra Sajjate Hare Krishna. Sayam Sakya Anugita Satkato Vedeshu Cha Guhyavadbihi Ya Eka Isho Jagadātma Leelaya Srijatyatinatra Sajjate Srijatyatinatra Sajjate. Please recite. Savayam Sakya Satkato Vedeshu Guhyeshu Cha Guhyavadbihi Vedeshu Jagadātma Leelaya Sajjatyavattatra Sajjate Savayam Sakya Anugita Satkato Vedeshu Guhyeshu Savayam Sakya Anugita Satkato Vedeshu Guhyeshu Cha Guhyavadbihi Ya Eka Isho Jagadātma Leelaya Srijatyavatyatinatra Sajjate Savayam Sakya Anugita Satkato Vedeshu Guhyeshu Cha Guhyavadbihi Ya Eka Isho Jagadātma Leelaya Srijatyavatyatinatra Sajjate. Matajis. Savayam Sakya Anugita Satkato Vedeshu Guhyeshu Cha Guhyavadbihi Ya Eka Jagadātma Leelaya Srijatyavatyatinatra Sajjate. Word to word meaning, translation, and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Saha, he, vai, also, I am this, Sakhi, oh my friend, Anugita, described, Satkatha, the excellent pastimes, Vedeshu, in the Vedic literatures, Guhyeshu, confidential, Cha, as also, sorry, Guhyavad bihi, by the confidential devotees, Yaha, one who, Eka, one only, Ishaha, the supreme controller, Jagat, of the complete creation, Atma, super soul, Leelaya, by manifestation of pastimes, Sajjati, creates, Avati, Ati, also maintains and annihilates, Na, never, Tatra, there, Sajjate, becomes attached to it. Translation: oh dear friends, here is that very personality of Godhead whose attractive and confidential pastimes are described in the confidential parts of Vedic literatures by His great devotees. It is He only who creates, maintains and enhances the material world and yet remains unaffected. As it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, all literatures are glorifying the greatness of Lord Sri Krishna. Here it is confirmed in the Bhagavatam also. Expanded by many branches and sub-branches, by great devotees and empowered incarnations of the Lord like Vyasa, Narada, Sukadeva Goswami, the Kumaras, Kapila, Prahalada, Janaka, Bali and Yamaraja. But in the Srimad Bhagavatam especially, the confidential parts of his activities are described by confidential devotee Sukadeva Goswami. In the Vedanta Sutras or Upanishads, there is only a hint of the confidential parts of his pastimes. In such Vedic literatures as the Upanishads, the Lord has expressively been distinguished from the mundane conception of his existence. His identity being fully spiritual, his form, name, quality and paraphernalia, etc. have been really distinguished from matter, and therefore he is sometimes misunderstood by less intelligent persons as impersonal. But factually, he is the supreme person, Bhagavan, and he is partially represented as Paramatma or impersonal Brahman. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Vaitam Savadutam Pajana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namastreshtam Manumapi Satchiputramatra Swarupam Rupam Tasya Grajam Ruparim Madhavim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaro Maho Radhika Madhavashyam Prapto Yasya Pratita Shri Gurum Damyatosmi. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasas. Hare Krishna. Savayam Sakya Anugita Satkato Vishu Guhyeshu Cha Guhyavadbihi Eka Isho Jagada Atma Leelaya Srijatyavat Atinatatra Sajjate. Translation once more. Oh dear friends, here is that very personality of Godhead whose attractive and confidential pastimes are described in the confidential parts of the Vedic literatures by his great devotees. It is he only who creates, maintains and annihilates the material world and yet remains unaffected. Hare Krishna. I have taken very long bhajan and all this to make my talk little less. Oh. Anyway, so here the ladies of Hastinapura, when Lord Krishna was leaving from Hastinapura to Dwaraka, so there is also explained that Arjuna was holding the umbrella for Lord, and many other his devotees were there around him, and all these ladies from the top of the roof, actually they are in the balcony, they are from the top of the roof, they are seeing the Lord. And with that, they also like about to shed tears because Lord is going to leave from the Hastinapura. So, but they control their tears. It's also explained in the previous verses that they control their tears because if somebody is leaving, if somebody is shedding tears, it means it's inauspicious. It's not auspicious for them. So they were controlling their tears actually because Lord is actually leaving. And if I shed tears, then it is inauspicious for him. So they were controlling their, making their tears, inward. Shri Shri Radha Madhav ki jai, Shri Shri Gaunitai ki jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadramai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And they started discussing about the Lord. They started glorifying of the Lord. They started the glorification of the Lord. Similarly, it happens also in the mundane world. If some person, some important person is coming, immediately discussion starts. Who is this person? What was his achievements? How great he was, and blah blah goes on. So similarly, these ladies, they were glorifying the Lord. And in this verse you can see that, oh dear friends, here is that very personality of Godhead whose attractive and confidential pastimes are described in the confidential parts of the Vedic literature by his great devotees. So here they are saying that this attractive personality, Sri Krishna's pastimes are described in the Vedic literatures, in confidential Vedic literatures. As we know, there are so many, actually, Vedas itself, all the Vedic literature itself is meant for the conditioned soul to ultimately come to this platform to understand that there is Supreme Lord. I am His part and parcel. And I am meant to be serving Him. That is my constitutional position, and that is my nature, actually, to serve the Lord. And I am very satisfied and happy in that situation. So all the Vedas, all the Vedic literatures ultimately lead to this. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, what is that verse? Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mattasmritir gnanam apohanam cha vedeshu sarver ahameva vedya vedanta krit veda videha chaham. He says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. I am within everyone's heart as Paramatma. Matta smritir gnanam apohanam cha. I am the giver of remembrance and forgetfulness also. Apohanam cha. Apohanam means forgetfulness. Vedesh, what is the next line? Vedeshu sarver ahameva vedya. So, I am to be known by the study of the Vedas. And I am the compiler of the Vedas. I am the giver of the Vedas. Vedesha sarver ahameva vide. Vedanta krit veda videha cha. So ultimately Krishna is to be known. So it is He only who creates, maintains and annihilates the material world and yet remains unaffected. So He is Krishna only. Krishna is that same person. No, He is creating. What is the first verse of Bhagavatam? Janmadhyasya yataha. So everything, Janma Adiyasya, everything is coming from the Supreme Lord. Janmadhyasya. And He is the maintainer. And He is also the annihilator. So, of this material world. So like this they are discussing about the supremacy of Lord Sri Krishna. In the previous verses also they were saying many details of the or pastimes of the Lord. They were discussing. If you go into the purport, Srila Prabhupada says in the first line itself, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, all the Vedic literatures are glorifying the greatness of Lord Sri Krishna. Where it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. All the Vedic literatures are glorifying the greatness of Lord Sri Krishna. Krishna himself is explaining in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhava mattas sarva pravartate. He himself is explaining Bhagavad Gita. Mattab parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. He is the giver of the Vedas and he himself is giving the same knowledge. It's mentioned. It's not different. And here it is confirmed in the Bhagavatam also. So in Bhagavatam you can see every place, in every word actually there is Krishna in Bhagavatam. So the supremacy of the first verse itself, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya itonvayati taratas charteshva vijnana swarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaya Muhyanti Yat Suryaha Tejo Vari Mridam Yata Vinimayor Yatrati Sargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirishta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. So it's mentioned, the first verse itself, Vyasudeva is establishing the supremacy of Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So in Bhagavatam also it's mentioned. And all our movement actually is all surrounded. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings to his confidential devotees, Rupa Goswami and Ramananda Rai. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling in South India, in Madhya Leela, all this explained. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling and he was preaching the same teachings of Bhagavatam. When he was discussing with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was explaining the Atma Rama verse in non-devotional way. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established that Bhagavatam. He preached Bhagavatam. And in Srila Prabhupada's life also we can see. Srila Prabhupada that Ultadang road, then his friend Narendra Malik, Ultadang road, that same road. It's still there as it is, the same. And those days Prabhupada mentioned, it is mentioned in Prabhupada Leelamrita that there were no this horn sounds of cars and all this. There were only, what was that, horse, how you say in Bengali they said, Tanga sounds, that bells of the horses. So it is mentioned. Satsvarup Goswami Maharaj very detailedly explains in all the pastime, how Prabhupada met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So when his friend, he invites Prabhupada to meet a sadhu. So Prabhupada actually, every day he used it's mentioned that every day he used to see more than five sadhus, 5 to 6 sadhus, guests at his home every day almost. And Gaur Mohan, his father, Gaur Mohan Dev, he used to nicely give reception and give prasadam, and so every day it used to happen. Prabhupada also, he personally, he saw that people overnight, once it becomes evening, they go back to their household life. They're actually family people, but the next morning they wear saffron cloth and again go for begging, go for asking alms around. So Prabhupada personally saw this, and he was not accepting Narendra Mullik's proposal to go and meet Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But he insisted actually. Prabhupada was reluctant to go and meet. He insisted, no, he is different from all those sadhus. Then when they go, and that place is still there, it's maintained by recently it got renovated. And it is now under ISKCON actually. You all went there. I'm unfortunate, not been there yet. So there, Srila Prabhupada, when he goes up on the terrace, there Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was there and all his guests were there. He was giving a talk, and Srila Prabhupada, and he, along with his friend, goes and offers Dandavat Pranam. Once Srila Prabhupada gets up, immediately Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives instruction to Prabhupada. What he says? You are a young educated man. Why don't you take this message of Lord Chaitanya, this Mahaprabhu's message, to the Western world? In English, he specifically mentions in English. And there we can see that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he never mentioned Bhagavatam. He didn't mention Bhagavatam actually. What he said, he said Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. So you can see what is actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings is Srimad Bhagavatam. So that later we can see that Srila Prabhupada, after he renouncing from this from all his material life, he was in Radha Damodar temple. And why he was there near Rupa Goswami Samadhi, meditating? What he was meditating? This first canto, Srila Prabhupada, he translated there in that place, and you can see the purports in the first canto. Very, and all of our Krishna conscious movements, main principles Prabhupada has given in the first canto, first 3 cantos, we can say. When specifically first canto, we can see the very elaborate purports actually. Srila Prabhupada was meditating how to give this message of Bhagavatam to the conditioned souls. So you can see that Prabhupada's mission actually was to spread this Bhagavatam, spread Bhagavatam everywhere. And he took this Bhagavatam, he was traveling, he was distributing personally. He was distributing this Bhagavatam. It was almost like book distribution is like begging people to take Krishna. Please take, please take. Or people, they refuse. They won't take. They don't want Krishna. Prabhupada personally did that. He was personally, when Srila Prabhupada was in Radha Damodar temple, he was like not distributing the Maha big books. He was writing a magazine, Back to Godhead, and very, very powerful magazines they were. Whoever reads, immediately, they will come in contact with Krishna. immediately they will understand, oh, Krishna is a person actually. There is a supreme person, his controller. I am his servant. Immediately, I am actually bounded in this material world. I am actually meant to come out of it. So this message Srila Prabhupada was giving in Back to Godhead magazines. And later we can see this Bhagavatam, when Srila Prabhupada was traveling in Jaladuta, he had these 3 cantos, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. He traveled, started from Bombay, it went to Sri Lanka. Srila Prabhupada also, he got down in Sri Lanka. In Colombo he was traveling with his suitcase and went to Cochin, and like that it went to West. And Srila Prabhupada was personally distributing to his disciples also. Brahmananda Prabhu, he remembers actually, when he in Prabhupada times, Brahmananda Prabhu was actually a teacher. So his first salary, he brought and gave it to Srila Prabhupada. Some $500 he gave to Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada, he took and he gave it as a donation actually. And that time Srila Prabhupada was actually distributing Bhagavatam. I mean, selling Bhagavatam to his disciples. And Brahmananda Prabhu also said, can I get, Swamiji, can I get some Bhagavatam, the first canto and other cantos. He gave donation, so he was expecting something. Prabhupada, he gave, yeah, of course, certainly you can take Bhagavatam, yeah. And when he gave Bhagavatam to him, and he said, it's $21. So yeah, so you can see that Prabhupada, he was, and Brahmananda Prabhu, this past time I was hearing Atul Krishna Prabhu's lecture, so he was mentioning this past time about Brahmananda Prabhu. He very elaborately explains this actually, and while explaining he was almost, almost like shedding tears when he was explaining this. So Srila Prabhupada's whole mission was to establish Bhagavatam, distribute Bhagavatam. And the same Bhagavatam is the Vedanta Sutra, all the Vedic literatures, the summary of all the Vedic literatures. The same Bhagavatam. And this is the fruit, ripened fruit, which is eaten, which is given by Sukadeva Goswami. Sukamukad amrita drava samyutam. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam sukamukad amrita drava samyutam. Pipata bhagavatar samalayam muhuraho rashika bhavika. So Sukadeva Goswami, he was relishing this Bhagavatam. He first took this Bhagavatam, he relished it, and he again gave it to Parikshit Maharaj. And the same Bhagavatam is again Saunakadi Rishis, Sutta Goswami was repeating the same thing. And in that line, it came, and now we are discussing the same Bhagavatam. And every day it's like ever fresh. Like Krishna his beauty is ever fresh, his pastimes, his name, form, everything is ever fresh. Never we feel bored when we read Krishna book. Again we want to hear, again we want to, because it's all the pastimes of the Lord are non-different from Krishna. They're identical. Atasri Krishna namadi na bhavet grahyam indriya. Sevom nukehi jivado swayameva ispratadyata. Non-different. So, and by hearing them, we'll get purified. Just by hearing. Just by saying Hare Krishna itself. It will purify actually. So whenever we start our conversation, we'll start, everybody that does that. So starting Hare Krishna, if you lift a call, Hare Krishna. If you speak to someone, Hare Krishna. If you are on book distribution, it's actually good habit to when you approach a person, if he doesn't take, immediately chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare, and then approach the next person. So there was one devotee, when we were distributing books in Tamil Nadu, he was doing this. He used to have habit of doing this. He used to always chant and meditate, and he was the best book distributor actually. He used to distribute Bhagavatam, at least one Bhagavatam set every day he will distribute, at least one. And I asked him, what is the secret? We were like distributing it was a very tough time for us. Summers, Tamil Nadu is very hot, marathon time, even the winters are very hot actually in Tamil Nadu. It's almost like summer. So we were on the road, we were trying to push books to people, house to house, and we were very, and my Tamil also was not so good at that time. And this devotee is from Netherlands actually, the other devotee who used to distribute the books. And he doesn't know even any language, Tamil, even not, he used to say only Nandri. Nandri means thank you. And he used to give Bhagavatam sets. It was like shocking for us. And we know somewhat some Tamil we used to speak, but we were unable to give even the first canto of Bhagavatam to people. We used to show many slokas. You see, Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna, that, this. People would never touch. But he was like fully immersed actually. He always chanting. And he said, my secret is, when I feel that Prabhupada and all Acharyas are with me, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is with me, and when I give Bhagavatam, and when they are deciding to take Bhagavatam, and that is the main crucial situation where the person has to take Bhagavatam. In those days actually we were giving them for installments, 2 installments. So when the person is deciding, when he goes to his wife also, that happens, and they decide and discuss. And that time, this Prabhuji would sit and used to just pray to Prabhupada and pray to Guru Maharaj and Prabhupada. And amazingly, that person comes with the check or cash, takes Bhagavatam. It's so amazing. It happened. I was also with him many times. So meditating means he was not sitting and doing meditation or praying something he was just praying in his mind to Prabhupada. So this is a good habit actually. Of course, devotees here are distributing books near signals. There is no much time for meditating and all this. But I can see that Bhagavatam itself is Krishna himself actually. Srila Prabhupada books, they're non-different from Krishna. So we are actually taking Krishna with us. So Krishna is always with us. So definitely there, as Srila Prabhupada says, you just go out, there is always some customer who takes books. So just we have to go and distribute, that's it. I have diverted the topic, I think. So I will read the purport. The Vedas are expanded by many branches and sub-branches by great devotees and empowered incarnations of Lord like Vyasa, Narada, Sukadeva Goswami, the Kumaras, Kapila, Prahalada, Janaka, Bali and Yamaraj. So we know that how Vyasadeva, how Narada Muni comes and he Vyasadeva was not satisfied after dividing all the Vedas and giving all the Puranas and all this. He divided, but he was not satisfied. But Narada Muni, he comes and he says, he will not say, no, now you take the essence and describe about Srishti, describe about all this, what all comes in Bhagavatam. No, he never said this. He just said, you have not Urukrama, you have not glorified that Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the essence. So now you start doing that. And Vyasadeva, he just meditated. He meditated, and by the mercy of Krishna, he got the summary, the ripened fruit of all the Vedic literatures, Srimad Bhagavatam. And then he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. Similarly, so about all these devotees, Kumara, Kapila, Prahaladmar, all this is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam itself. And this Bhagavatam is spoken by Sukadeva Goswami. And it is confidential. It's mentioned in the verse. Vedeshu guhyeshu cha guhya vadbihi. But the Srimad Bhagavatam, especially the confidential parts of his activities, are described by his confidential devotee, Sukadeva Goswami. So the most confidential thing, what is that? Most confidential part of Bhagavatam. Yes, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes. It's mentioned about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. Krishna Varnam Tvasha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshatam Yagnai Sankirtana Praye Yajanti Sumedasa. What is most confidential? Of course, that is also confidential. That Krishna is a person. That Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is a person, actually. If you see in the Upanishads, if you see in the Vedas, indirectly, Krishna is mentioned. If you take, for example, Samaveda or Rig Veda, Yajur Veda. Rig Veda, there are so many demigods are mentioned. He is supreme, he is supreme, he is supreme. Of course, all the demigods are the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and their names are secondary names of Krishna himself. But it's also some places in Upanishads there is mentioned about the greatness of the Supreme Lord, greatness of the Lord. I think in Shvetashvatara Upanishad there is a verse, Cheta Kevalo Nirgunatva Sakshi. This verse comes in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. And this Upanishad is also commented by Shankaracharya, Shankara school. They also commented, and Shankaracharya commented, and they give the wrong idea behind this verse. Nirguna Sakshi, it's mentioned. Sakshi means witnesser. So witnesser is a quality, but they take only the Nirgunatva. Nirguna means he has no any qualities. They only stick to this point. So Shankaracharya's point of view is to prove that there is no form, no qualities of the Lord. But the Acharyas, they explain that there is Sakshi. Sakshi is witnesser. This is a quality. This is a quality. He is a witnesser of everything. It's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also. What is that verse? Upadrishtaha Anumantaja. He is the witnesser. It's a quality. It's Paramatma. So he's a person actually. So Mayavadis, they reject the quality, the transcendental qualities of the Lord. They say this, he is nirguna, he has no any qualities, no. He comes to this world and he becomes saguna. He takes a form, and in the beginning stage, for the beginners, you can take some deity, any deity, and you can worship. And he's saguna. But when you realize, later you will realize that you are that same person, you are that same Brahman, that same Brahman. So it's all contradicting actually. So they keep on commenting on this. They keep on expanding. They quote many verses from Vedas here and there, to prove that Krishna is, the Supreme Lord is formless and no quality. I was hearing Bhakti Vikas Maharaj lecture, and he was mentioning that when he was in Vrindavan, he was going for the morning program, morning Guru Puja program, and when he was coming out of his room, generally there is no accommodation within the temple. Generally, the devotees, they stay outside. So Maharaj also was little far away from them. So when he was coming for the morning program, he saw Asharam Baba. Some person was speaking. He was like giving some talk. And there he was. Then Maharaj just, he stood and he was hearing. He was speaking in Hindi actually. And he was mentioning there that he was talking about Tukaram. Tukaram, when one day he goes to Vittala, and Vittala says to him that no need to come to temple. Now you have self-realized. You no need to come. Now you're almost like me now. Now you can no need of coming to temple now anymore. So Maharaj was saying that see, in India, like this, there are so many misinterpreters of the stories or pastimes of the devotees. Of course, Tukaram was not much philosopher. So even you can see in Maharashtra, there is Bhagavad Gita called as Gnaneshwari. So it is commented by Mayavadis. There are so many misinterpretations of the verses from Bhagavad Gita there. They interpret it and they prove that Krishna is no person. He is just Brahman. So it is endless actually. Mayavadis they keep on spoiling the minds of the people in India. Even now it's spreaded everywhere, all over the world almost. Even this Mayavadis, they took this impersonalism, Kevala Advaitavad, around the world also. So we have to preach this Bhagavatam actually. So we have to establish. We have to establish that Krishna is the person actually. Here it is said, the less intelligent people his identity being fully spiritual, his form, name, quality and paraphernalia, etc. have been elaborately distinguished from matter. Elaborately distinguished from matter. And therefore he is sometimes misunderstood by less intelligent persons as impersonal. Apajananti mamuda manushim tanumashritam. What is the next line? Param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta avyayam. Yeah. So fools deride Krishna. Manushyanam No, he comes in the form, human form. It's not that human-like form actually. It's mentioned human-like form. No. So we are all the forms of Krishna. Not that Krishna is in in our form. No. We are in Krishna's form. Krishna is like us. That's why we are like this. So fools died. No, that no. Avajananti ma muda. No? Krishna is saying they are muda, fools. So they write his transcendental position. No, they say that he is impersonal. But factually he is a supreme person, Bhagavan, and he is partially represented as Paramatma or impersonal Brahman. So it is mentioned in Bhagavatam itself. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnayam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti sabjate. So it's partial realization. There is partial realization also of the Supreme Lord, impersonalism and Paramatma realization. Srila Prabhupada gives many analogies on this, right? What is the famous analogy? Sun. Can you say?
Sun disk and sun rays. The sun planet, the person, sun god.
Yes.
The
Rays of the sun. Yeah. Sunshine, sun planet and Surya Bhagavan, sun god. So there is difference. No? Sunshine is non-different from the sun itself. Sun planet is everywhere. Can see, no, it's seen everywhere, and there is person also, Bhagavan realization. So there is gradation actually, from impersonalism, then Paramatma realization, then so ultimately that Bhagavan realization. So this in Srimad Bhagavatam, so this is directly given actually. This is directly given, and how to surrender to that person, how to perform pure devotional service to that Supreme Person is also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So there is no any place for Jnana, Karma Kanda, like in Vedas there is Karma Kanda, there is Jnana Kanda, there is more it is mentioned about Karma Kanda, worshipping different demigods for different things. But in Srimad Bhagavatam only spotless Purana. Dharma projita kaitavatra pranama nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu sivadam tapatrayon moolanam Srimad Bhagavatam maha munikrite kimva parerishvara. It's mentioned that there is no place for cheating religions. So this is spotless Purana, which gives only pure transcendental knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no any place for like I said, Karma Kanda or. But unfortunately, there are deviations in our, I cannot say in our society. We can see that it's happening, like opening hospitals and doing social welfare activities. So this is not what Srila Prabhupada preached. It's spotless. There is no any place for all this. Again it is like Karma Kanda. Again it's like engaging in material activities. So there is nowhere in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada says our real welfare activity is to connect the person to Krishna. That is the real welfare activity which we can do. So there is in every page there is pure devotional service Srila Prabhupada is giving. So this has to be understood ultimately after reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And this what I have some points from this verse. If anybody wants to add something to this, you can also do it. And some comments, questions.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, because of my less understanding, I have got 2-3 questions. Just scroll that purport.
Purport.
So 1 minute, up little bit up. Sir, it is telling that here it is confirmed in the Bhagavatam also.
Yes.
Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam, what I understand, those are the inhalations of Lord Sri Krishna.
Those are the?
Annihilations of, it has come out from Sri Krishna.
Okay.
As I read in some book, teachings of Lord Chaitanya.
Okay.
So does these books require the identity that this has to confirm this and this has to confirm this? Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
Means Bhagavatam has to confirm Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad Gita has to confirm Bhagavatam. Because it is stated here, it is confirmed in the Bhagavatam also.
Also. What it is confirmed?
That all the Vedic literatures are glorifying the greatness of Lord Sri Krishna.
Yes.
It is there in Bhagavad Gita also.
Yes.
So Bhagavad Gita is the extraction from the Bhagavatam only, what I understand?
No. Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna himself.
Himself.
Krishna himself is speaking about himself. And Srimad Bhagavatam is?
Again spoken by him only.
It's not spoken by him. It's spoken by his devotees. Realized by, it is the Vedanta Anta. Vedanta Sar, Srimad Bhagavatam. And it is realized by his meditation. It is realized, it is taken from all the Vedic literatures, essence. Like you have 50 liters of milk with you. You want to make rabdi. Rabdi is very tasty if it is offered to Krishna. So when you nicely boil it, no, it will take lot of time. So the essence of that milk, no, when it becomes more thicker, then it's rabdi. And if I offer it to Krishna, then take it, you will be happy. Srimad Bhagavatam is like that. Srimad Bhagavatam is like Vyasadeva has taken the essence from the Vedic literature and he has given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And it is spoken by Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. When Parikshit Maharaj was about to leave his body within 7 days, he got cursed by a Brahmana. This all comes in Bhagavatam when you read Bhagavatam.
Because recently, Prabhuji, I read somewhere, I think from teachings of Lord Chaitanya or Bhagavatam, that it is the Bhagavatam is the annihilation from Lord Sri Krishna.
Yeah, it's all the Vedic literatures. Everything is emanating from Krishna himself.
So again, compilation by Vasudeva, Vyasadeva. So what I understand is, as because it was fading away because of the yugas, so hence it was compiled by Vyasadeva, so also as the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Actually, all the Vedas, all the Vedic knowledge was transferred to the next generations by Shruti, in the Shruti form. They used to just hear and they used to pass on.
In the earlier yugas.
And the earlier yugas.
Yes.
But in Kali Yuga, people are Ayan Alpayusha subject Kalosmin Yugejana Mandasu Mandamatoyo Mandabhagyahu Upadritaha. In Kali Yuga, people are less intelligent, lazy to understand spiritual subjects.
Forgetfulness.
And their lifespan is very less. Because their lifespan is very less, so they cannot engage in all this. So that's why Vyasadeva has taken the essence from all the Vedic literatures. The Veda Anta, summary of and he has given in Srimad Bhagavatam. He compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is unlimited actually. Unlimited. Because Krishna is unlimited. In Bhagavatam actually there are 18,000 slokas. But if you see in other, like it is said that in Swargaloka there are 1 lakh verses of Bhagavatam. So more description is there. So it's endless. Anantashesh, he is glorifying the Lord and is non-stop. I mean, going on. So there's endless glorification of the Lord. So, but Vyasadeva has given in Kali Yuga, I mean, for people of Kali Yuga, we have Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses. So
last question is, Prabhu, personification of Lord Sri Krishna in Bhagavatam. So I think in chapter 1, 28 or 29th, it is mentioned that
29th verse. Chapter 1.
Chapter 1. Okay. That's, if I am wrong, please don't take it otherwise. I read it that maybe my understanding is wrong. So it is Lord Sri Krishna is neither a materialistic form or a bodily form. It is a transcendental form only. Means it does not have any means in Hindi it is a Nirakara Niswarup. So then again you said it is a it has been person. He is mentioned as a person.
Yes.
So this
what is the confusion there?
I understood that Lord Sri Krishna is a Nirakar Niswarup. He does not have any bodily form or anything.
I never said that.
You mentioned it is a person.
It is mentioned in the Upanishads indirectly about the supremacy of the Lord, not directly.
Means not as a bodily person.
Yeah, it is Guhya. I mean, it's hidden. Indirectly, it is glorified. Krishna is glorified. That's what Prabhupada writes here. That's what the ladies of Hastinapura, they were discussing.
Person means, for my understanding, it is only spiritual form, no? Not as a bodily form.
His body also is spiritual, transcendental, Satchitananda.
Satchitananda, okay.
Brahma Samhita, the first line itself, Brahmaji says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha. His body is also transcendental. And we, as spirit, we also has a transcendental body. But we have forgotten that body. Now we have accepted material body. So now our goal is to take through the Srimad Bhagavatam, through the Acharyas, we can cross over this material ocean through Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any other comments, questions? Radhanath Prabhu, any comments? Madhur Kanay Prabhu. वांछाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।